If push came to shove and I could only have 5 Swiss Army knives for the rest of my life, here's my top 5. Hey everyone, David C. Andersen here, coming at you from the KnifeCenter. Welcome to KniFAQ, episode 258 of the series where I answer all your questions, sharp or dull. What we do is we go through the comments section below these videos, pick out some good cues. I try to answer them the best I can, and Thomas behind the camera makes snarky comments.
Bratwurst.
You could cut some bratwurst with these, I guess.
I couldn't come up with a Swiss dish.
What would be a Swiss? You mean Swiss Miss? Hot chocolate, anyone? It's not really Swiss, though, is it? No. Yeah. Anyway, first question today comes from Jeremy 2. David, what 5 Swiss Army knives would you want if you could only pick 5 for life? All the same is okay. Discontinued is okay, but no customs. Okay. So as this is my top 5, it's going to be a little bit different from the lists we've done previously on, the top whatever Swiss Army knives or the best Swiss Army knives for XYZ. Because a lot of those lists are kind of focusing on what's the best for the most people for given use cases or given scenarios. But those lists only really scratch the surface of the vast lineup that Victorinox brings to the table. You can get real specialized with stuff. And I'm going to get real specialized with what I like for this list. But as it's my top 5 list, you're going to see some favorites, some absolute S-tier Swiss Army knives that everyone agrees are some of the best out there are not going to be on this list. The Victorinox Compact, for one. This is mine. In fact, most of the Swiss Army knives on this table are mine. I've carried this a lot, but it only has lackluster Phillips head capability with the edge of the combo tool right there, and it's enough to annoy me enough that it doesn't make my top 5. Same thing with the Cadet. Universally loved. I have 2, in fact. And it does do Phillips head driving a little bit better with the tip of the can opener right there. But still, it got to the point where it was just kind of bugging me enough that I looked elsewhere. The Huntsman. Phenomenal knife. I have said before and still maintain this is the best outdoors-oriented Swiss Army knife for most people at most times. But in those times, I would be reaching for something different. So you're not going to see these classics, these bangers on the list. Let's start with the Swiss Army knife that today I carry every day. And that is the Companion Slim. Newly released model last year. It actually does not have the standard knife blade on it. It's always a chore trying to open up multiple things at once without causing injury. I love the Companion Slim right here. And the reason I don't mind that it doesn't have a knife blade is I'm usually carrying a primary pocket knife anyway. And this was selected to fit into this 3D print project that I put together that also includes some other tools, Knipex Cobra pliers, Leatherman style flat bits here. Don't mind that. And the 711L ratchet and extender right here. Great little EDC thing. And I love the fact that the box cutter, cap lifter, and scissors on the Companion Slim keep the whole thing nice and slim, and it's just small enough that I can fit all of this into a pouch that I like to carry. Companion Slim, awesome. Awesome tool. And while I wouldn't say it's TSA friendly per se, because it does still have this box opener blade on it, this could be an option for folks out there if you happen to work or live in some more knife restrictive locales. This might not be seen as a knife in certain scenarios. Airport security, I think this would still be seen as a knife. So let's just say you've been warned. Yeah, I don't see myself changing out from this anytime soon unless something in particular were to happen. Get into that later. Next up, I would want my outdoor Swiss Army knife. I talked about the Huntsman being great there. However, for me personally, I would carry the Outrider. My personal favorite outdoor Swiss Army knife. They come in about $86 right now. I have one of the older versions with the slide lock on the side. The newer versions have their liner lock, but you've got a primary main blade, the longer variety here, better for longer cuts, better for food prep, of course, as well. You've got can opener and cap lifter, the standard things there. You've got the wood saw, which is an essential on an outdoor Swiss Army knife or any kind of outdoor multi-tool, and the extra length that the larger chassis here provides gives you a little more cutting power. And where this differs from other popular outdoor bigger Swiss Army knives like the one-hand Trekker, for example, is you've got scissors. I love scissors on a Swiss Army knife, and you've got a Phillips head driver right there. It's on the smaller side, but it just plain works. You're starting to see that, to me, Phillips head driving is important in what I need to do. Also comes with an awl and comes with the corkscrew here on the back. And this is another thing for an outdoor Swiss Army knife. If you're gonna, a lot of the backside tools on Swiss Army knives, you'll either have the corkscrew or a Phillips head driver. For my outdoorsy Swiss Army knife, I like the corkscrew. It's great for untying knots that are really stuck, especially helpful for me with my large fingertips right here where it could otherwise be more difficult to get into those knots. You can also store stuff inside of here. There's little fire starter and tinder kits that are provided or are available. We used to have one sitting here. I don't see it there. For an outdoors knife, I'd love to have that extra set of fire starters right there. And you've also got toothpick and tweezers. And actually, oh yeah, I forgot. Oh darn. I was just going to say, I actually put one of the Firefly ferrocerium style rods in the toothpick holder right here, but then I went to pull it out and the end popped off. So that's going to be fun for me to kind of fix later, but not right now.
Later. Maybe
that'll come out and I'll put the fire ant in the corkscrew instead, since that could be a problem. Oops. That's my number 2. And this 1 through 5 is in no particular order, I should mention. Although I will say I could probably get away with just top 3. So next up, I've got to have a keychain sized Swiss Army knife on the list. And like my thoughts on the Huntsman, I think the Rambler is the best option for most people at most times. But I went and would go with the Mini Champ A-Locks. Not because it has a significantly better tool set than the Rambler. I think, let me show you what the Rambler has. It has a blade that opens on the opposite end of the key ring. So if you have it on your keys, it's easier to use. The classic SD does not do that. It's also got small Phillips with cap lifter right here. Other side, you've got the pair of scissors, and you've also got the flathead screwdriver tipped nail file, toothpick and tweezers in the scales, of course. The Mini Champ is actually slimmer at its widest point, but it is a little more bulky because you don't have the kind of rounded edges right there. It's a little more squared off. Now you do get more tools with the Mini Champ, but they're less essential. Some of them are nice to have, like this package opener right here. That's kind of a nice little cutting hook, so to speak. You've got the small spatula right there, pill pusher or something. Don't really use that. You do have a Wharncliffe blade, which is a nice thing, better for scoring than the standard blade. Apart from that, it's kind of about the same, really. Wait, no, we are missing one thing here. Yeah, the nail file doesn't have the screwdriver tip. It actually has the nail cleaner in there. But where is it? That's the problem with this. I can almost never find some of the things I'm looking for.
Some great radio.
Oh, here it is, right here, right in front of me. You do have the ruler right here with that same screwdriver tip. This, to me, the reason I don't carry the Rambler or the Cadet more often, this is kind of the perfect combination of the two. It's Rambler sized and Rambler utilitarian, but classier like the Cadet. It's a really cool little item. It's expensive though. It's like $70 compared to the Rambler, which I don't know, is it half that these days? What are we talking about? Yeah, $35. It's half the price of this. Would I recommend most people get the Mini Champ A-Locks? But no. But I would. And this is my top 5 list. All right. I really could get away with just the top 3 if I'm honest, but we'll do the top 5 because that was the question. what would I need apart from these? These I would carry in specific situations, but let's say I don't have my normal EDC multiple tool pack here. I'm not heading outdoors. I'm not going where I want a mini or a classier Swiss Army knife. Just an everyday capable, set it and forget it Swiss Army knife. And for me, for years, it had been the EvoGrip series, either the S16 or the S18. Longtime viewers of the channel will know I have been a huge proponent of the S18, and that's because the S16 was no longer available. But now the S18 is no longer available too. What I love about this, and this is the S16, the old Wenger version before Victorinox consolidated the lineups, you've got a locking blade, which is cool. And then when you combine that with the rubber grip inserts on the whole EvoGrip series, you get kind of a safer, more secure feeling Swiss Army knife than your typical Celador handle or plastic handle scales. And it's really nice. Now it's a little kind of weird. It's definitely not a finger safe closing action, but I've also never cut myself on it. Pretty cool. Nail file. I used that a lot. This is the old, or the Wenger style of Swiss Army scissors. Swizzers. We just invented a new term. Write it down. Micro serrations on the blade. Honestly, the Victorinox scissors, I think, snip cleaner than this. But there is something to be said about the longevity of these without ever having to sharpen them because of the micro serrations. Anyway, you've got the cap lifter, and this actually has sort of a locking position. If you're putting pressure on it, this will actually move back into the handle a little bit, and that'll prevent it from coming closed. That's something you don't see on any of the Victorinox models anymore, which is a shame because I thought that was really, really cool. You've also got the pre-consolidation shape of the can opener, and I was always better with this can opener shape than the other ones. All on the back, which I never used, and screwdriver on the back. For my EDC Swiss Army knife, I definitely want the screwdriver. That would be the choice. Now, what I would do, I wouldn't keep this little fob on here. I would actually throw a suspension clip on here, because the times I would be carrying this now, I'd be just lounging around the house in a pair of like gym shorts or something, and this could fall out real easy. And I had that happen to one of my old EvoGrips, and it got buried in a recliner and all chewed up and everything before it was found like years later. So a suspension clip would be a good thing for that, for me. Now for number 5, honestly, I'm tempted to go for the fixed blade here, because it's a cool fixed blade, right? But I don't think that's in the spirit of the question, so I'll put it to the side for just a moment. I've got to go with the Bantam A-locks. It sort of takes what's nice about the Cadet and goes even slimmer. It's a single layer thick. Now you don't have very good Phillips head capability on here. You do have the combo tool, which can, in a pinch, have the this corner act as a number 2 Phillips. It's in a pinch. It's not ideal, but the combo tool and the blade, that combination, super sweet. Because the combo tool does can opening in addition to bottle opening. You got the wire stripper notch. You got a little pry capability. You've got that Phillips in a pinch capability. You've got a half stop on there to get you more leverage, and it's just a really sweet package. This is KnifeCenter exclusive red version of the knife. The cool thing about the Bantam A-locks to me is, because it's sort of less specialized than some of the other ones, I think this is a great Swiss Army knife, literally for everyone, because it could slip into anywhere. It's just different enough from the other stuff out there. It's just, I'm so enamored of it even now. Really, really cool knife. That's my rounding out my top 5. Now, will this top 5 change? Only if certain things happen. Because if I could kind of wave my magic wand and make the Victorinox factory do anything, there were 2 things I would do. 1, take the compact. I haven't described what it is. You've got the scissors and the combo tool, like you do on the Bantam. Or, sorry, blade and combo tool, like you do on the Bantam. Add the pair of scissors, which is great. You've got the plus scales, which means in addition to toothpick and tweezers, you've got the ballpoint pen right there. Backside, you've got the parcel hook, made more useful by the addition of the nail file in the back. You've got the screwdriver, or the corkscrew, I'm getting all the tools wrong, which I have the small eyeglass screwdriver screwed in on the side. if you could give me this and add one layer to it and put in the driver, interchangeable bit driver layer from any of the Cyber tools, basically, I would be a very, very happy camper. And that would replace the S16 for just the everyday capable Swiss Army knife for me. As for what's available right now, come on, close, there we go. Closest that comes to the S16, the Synergy X A-LOX is close. It even has a pocket clip, but again, Phillips head, not as good. The Explorer probably would take it a step further. That's a nice one, but the blade's not locking like it is on the Synergy X here, and you don't have the nail file either. But those get close, so sad that that guy's no longer with us. The new Companion is pretty good too. The other magic wand thing I would do, Cadet X. Please, Victorinox, make it happen. I know you don't make scissors sized for the, what is this, the 84 millimeter frame anymore, but if you could take the Cadet and give me a pair of scissors, that would replace the Companion Slim for me, because the larger A-LOX knives versus the 84 millimeters are built a little more robust. And that's fine, because more robust is good. But if you made this Cadet one layer thicker, it would still only be just about the same thickness as the Companion Slim right here, in which case I would definitely incorporate it as part of my everyday carry. Yeah, I would buy several on day one just because I would be afraid to discontinue it again the next day. Thanks for your help, if anyone's listening.
I just make them satin blades.
So just to make it easier for you to do your B-roll filming? Yes. Well, there you go. That's my top 5 Swiss Army knives. What are your top 5 Swiss Army knives? Down in the comments. Hope this wasn't too rambling for you. Let's get to the lightning round. Let's cut out the rambling. William Heath. Does anyone know any good multi-pocket tools with a blade and a tin opener? Not a bottle. All Swiss Army ones by Victorinox have the bottle opener rather than tin opener. Not quite true, but the Bantam A-LOX right here. You've got the blade. You've got the tin opener that also does bottles. They had a knife that was this size with the combo tool and a set of scissors back in the day, the Voyageur. But now we would probably call it the Bantam X. They should make that too. If anyone's listening. Anyway, I kid because I'm a fan of the Swiss Army knife, of course. All right, MG Brown says, which is the original Swiss Army knife and which is the genuine Swiss Army knife? They're both true. So the tagline of Victorinox has long been the original Swiss Army knife. The tagline of Wenger was the genuine Swiss Army knife. And that is because both are true. Both companies had contracts from the Swiss Army to manufacture Swiss Army knives. So yeah, they came first, Wenger came second, but they both get to use those taglines. Now, sort of a moot point now because many years ago now at this point, 20, 30, I can't remember, Victorinox bought Wenger and incorporated it or kept producing many of the models after the acquisition. And then some years later kind of fully merged the lineups together so that like the S18 that I carried after this had the Victorinox logo on it and the Victorinox can opener as well. So yeah, you can't really buy new Wengers anymore unless you find some old new in-box, new old stock stuff. But yeah, that's the difference there. Free State Fellow, howdy KnifeCenter crew. Can I get a knife recommendation for a summer camp Couselor? Outdoor hardy, simple to maintain, easy to use if I have to lend it to a fellow counselor, and most importantly, it should have a friendly demeanor for use around kids and skittish parents. Those poor skittish parents. I was thinking about the Salt 2 from Spyderco, but you got any other ideas? You could go with this, certainly. Easy to use. The bright colors certainly help it feel like less threatening. But I don't know. I dig it. The LC200 steel here is a great option for sure. It's very tough. It is virtually stain-proof, rust-proof. The whole knife is, in fact, being part of the Salt series. It's a good size. But I got to come back to the Swiss Army knife for this. There's a reason... Swiss Army knives in particular, but multi-tools broadly, are seen as less frightening to those poor skittish parents. The Huntsman, Great option for a camp counselor. I like the Outrider, as already mentioned. Let me tell you why the Huntsman is great. I often recommend this as my it's my go-to knife, Swiss Army knife recommendation for Boy Scouts. You have 2 blades, large and small, one for bigger work, a smaller one for whittling. A nice combo. You've got the saw, you've got scissors, you've got the cap lifter and can opener combo there. Great set of tools. You've got the parcel hook and the awl on the back, leather awl, especially great when doing leather working stuff at a summer camp, presumably. And the corkscrew. Why do I keep stumbling on this today? It is a bottle opener. That's correct. And the corkscrew on there, of course, with which you could put stuff on there. Cool item right here for sure. If you want something one-hand opening and locking, though, more akin to the Spyderco, you could potentially go with the Sentinel. It even comes with a pocket clip right there. Easy to use, very non-threatening blade. In fact, the tip is kind of rounded over. Personally, if I were carrying this, I would want to grind that down to get more of a point, but that could be an advantage in this particular situation. Sort of a reverse liner lock. It's more left-hand facing than right-hand facing, and toothpick and tweezers in there as well. The knife's about $48 right now, or if you want more multi-tooly stuff, go for the Ranger Grip 79 for about $88. This is actually the 61 here. It's because we didn't have the right one on the shelf today, but I'll explain the difference there. You've still got the one-hand opening blade, maybe a little less non-threatening looking. But very nice, more of a tip on it as well, and a button actuated liner lock right there. That makes it safe. You got a finger safe closing path, which is always a nice thing. You've also got those guys on it, those things that I've talked about this whole time. You've got the longer wood saw on this, and then you've got the awl and the corkscrew on the back. You could go with the 78 if you wanted a Phillips head right there instead, depending on what your camp counselor duties entail. That may or may not be useful, but you do still have some rudimentary Phillips head capability with that one right there. So that would be what I would recommend. Any one of those 4 options, either yours or the 3 that I provided. Wait, no, I provided 4 options because the Outrider is good. Like that knife a lot. All right. Now we come to our most final question of the day, which is, of course, our most serious question of the day, which comes from Mr. Mizzardo. If you would time travel to ancient Rome, which knife would you be taking with you? Ha ha ha. A Swiss Army knife. But not just any Swiss Army knife. Did you guys see the Roman Swiss Army knife that they talk about? I have a link in the document, Thomas, so you can find a picture of this item here. There was actually a blade on it that's corroded away, but you've got like fork and spoon and other like nifty little doodads. So in the spirit of trying to blend in, it might be something like that. And if you were ever in Cambridge, in Europe, and visit the Fitzwilliam Museum, you could see it for yourself. That's actually kind of an actual serious answer to what's supposed to be a joke question.
Kind of losing our edge today, aren't we?
Well, it is a Swiss Army knife, and the knives do not hold an edge as long as the modern Wonder Steels. But it's just a good opportunity to practice. Strop early, strop often, after all. Hope that helps. All right, folks. Well, let me know your top 5 Swiss Army knives. Drop them in the comments, man. Would love to hear from you. If you've got any alternate suggestions to any of our lightning round askers there, fire away. And if you want to get your hands on any of these knives for yourself, take a look at the links in the description to take you to KnifeCenter.com. Don't forget about our long-running Knife Rewards program or Sezzle payment options at checkout if you want to break things into smaller chunks. I'm David C. Andersen from the Knife Center. It's Thomas behind the camera. And don't forget to put your questions in the comments as well. Drop them down below. See you next time.